Have you ever felt like saving money is just pointless? Like you're trying to fill a bucket with a hole in it? You save a little, life happens, and poof, it's gone. If you've been trying to get ahead but feel like you're just treading water, I'm here to tell you you are not crazy. There is a very real psychological reason for this struggle. So let's get into it and figure out why saving feels so darn impossible, and more importantly, when it all of a sudden doesn't.
Man, this quote from our source material just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? It perfectly captures that feeling. In those early stages, it's not about building wealth, it's just this constant battle for survival. You're not trying to get rich, you're just trying to not get completely wiped out by the next unexpected bill. It really does feel like a rigged game.
And yeah, that rigged game, it often feels a lot like a round of financial whack-a-mole. You know the one. Every single time you think you've made a little progress, another problem pops up and bam, life smacks you right back down to the start. Let's walk through what that actually feels like, because I'm sure it'll sound familiar.
Okay, so you've cut back, you've been super disciplined, and you finally see that number in your account tick up. You've got $300. For a second, you feel like, okay, I'm doing it. I'm in control.
And just like that, the feeling is gone. That small win is completely erased by one of the thousands of little things that can go wrong. It's not even a huge disaster, it's just life. And man, is it deflating.
So you dust yourself off, you scrape and save for a couple more months, you hit a new high, $500 this time, and then your laptop just gives up on you, and you're right back at zero. It feels like all that effort, all that sacrifice was for literally nothing. This whole cycle traps you in what our source calls financial purgatory. And it's the perfect name for it, right? You don't get the joy of spending the money on something fun, but you also don't have enough saved to feel any real security. You're just stuck in the middle, getting neither the fun of today nor the peace of mind for tomorrow. It's honestly the worst of both worlds. But what if this whole frustrating cycle isn't your destiny? What if there's a key, a specific number, a threshold, where this entire dynamic just flips on its head? A point where saving stops feeling like a punishment and actually starts to feel powerful.
Well, according to our source material, there is. There is a psychological tipping point that completely changes your relationship with money. It transforms you from being a victim of your finances to being a real player in the game.
$10,000. That's it. It's not a million. It's not even 100 grand. But hitting this one specific number triggers a huge psychological shift that makes all the difference in the world.
See, this is where we get into the two different roles your money can play. Before you hit that $10,000 mark, all your money is on defense. But after you cross it, it finally gets to go on offense. Let's break down exactly what that means.
Defensive money is all about survival. When you have less than 10 grand, you are constantly thinking, what if my car breaks down? What if I get sick? Can I cover one emergency? Your entire mindset is based on fear and preventing loss, not creating gain. And you know what? It is absolutely exhausting. But once you cross that threshold, everything flips. The questions you ask yourself completely change. It's no longer, how do I avoid disaster? It becomes, okay, how do I turn this 10,000 into 20,000? All of a sudden, you're energized by the possibility of growth, not drained by the constant fear of loss.
And this shift, it's not just about what's in your bank account. It goes so much deeper than that. It actually changes your identity. It changes who you believe you are when it comes to money.
Think about it like this. Below 10 grand, you see yourself as someone who is trying to save. You're giving it a shot, you're struggling, you're hoping it works. But above 10 grand, something in your brain just clicks. You stop trying to be good with money, and you simply are good with money. It becomes a core part of who you are.
The source uses a perfect analogy for this. When you're first learning to drive, right, every move is deliberate and kind of terrifying. Your whole focus is just, don't crash. But after a while, you don't even think about it anymore. You're just a driver. It's second nature. The exact same thing happens with your money at that $10,000 mark. And this new identity kicks off this incredible, powerful, positive feedback loop. Because you finally feel in control, you start making smarter, calmer decisions with your money. Those better decisions lead to you saving more, which then makes you feel even more in control. You see how that works? The momentum just builds and builds on itself.
So if getting to this $10,000 threshold is so important, how do we get there? The usual advice is go slow and steady. But our source argues that is exactly the wrong approach for this first crucial stage.
I mean, just look at the math here. If you're saving $50 a month, it's going to take you over 16 years to hit that psychological tipping point. 16 years of feeling like you're losing. But if you can find a way to put away $1,000 a month, you're there in just 10 months.
You get to the good part before you burn out and give up. This means slow and steady does not win this first race. The goal is to get out of that financial danger zone as fast as you possibly can. Think of it like a sprint across a battlefield. You don't take a casual stroll, you run for your life to get to safety.
And sprinting means you gotta flip the whole script. You don't save what's left after spending, you spend what's left after saving. Look, this requires some temporary, intense sacrifices. Maybe it's moving back home for a bit or picking up a side hustle for a year. It's not about how much you make, it's about your intensity for a short, focused amount of time.
So what happens when you win that sprint? When you make it across the battlefield? Well, you enter a completely new reality. Once you cross that threshold and escape the danger zone, the entire landscape of your life changes. Let's look at what it actually feels like to live on offense. This is it. This is the ultimate prize. Money is no longer this scary monster under the bed, this source of constant anxiety. It becomes a tool, like a hammer or a paintbrush, that you can actually use to build the life you really want to live.
And what can you build with that tool? We're talking about real, tangible options. The freedom to quit a job that's crushing your soul and actually take your time finding a better one. The ability to just pack up and move to a new city that excites you. The capital to invest in yourself. To take that course or get that certification that could change your career forever.
So in the end, that first $10,000, it's not really about the money at all, is it? It's the price of admission. It's the down payment on a new identity, a new set of possibilities. It is the ticket out of playing financial defense and into a life where you finally get to play offense. So the only question left is, are you ready to make that sprint?